Hi Gary, I just want you to introduce yourself.
My name is Gary Stewart. I lecture computer science at the University of Cape Town. It's the best job in the world. It's the merger of two things which I really care about. It's about computing and technology, which I really love, and the whole aspect of teaching and making change in the world. So this job kind of is the merger of those two things. So as I say, for me, it's the best job in the world.
Gary, I mean, it's nice to hear that you're really enjoying your job, and this is like the most awesome job in the world. I just want you to quickly tell us what challenges do lecturers face on campus, especially when it comes to social media.
So the challenge is that teaching a difficult subjects like computer science it's very challenging. And we invest as lecturers a lot of energy into kind of making it interesting and engaging. But sometimes some students, are too caught up in other things. And they're young and they're excited and they're meeting new students and but sometimes things like social media kind of take them away from focusing on the reason that they're here. So in class, for example, I don't have students, working on the devices. It's a rule in my class that if you come into my class, into my lecture period, that you put your laptops and phones and other devices away, because it's important for me that you focus on what I'm teaching you, because I've invested the energy to kind of teach this thing, and I expect the same in return. So there is a little bit of a challenge, and social media, as I say, takes students away from focusing on the reason that they are, and it takes a while for them to understand that, and for us to get that into their heads. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's great to hear that you actually ask them to keep their devices away so that they can stay focused during the lecture. I mean, they are at UCT and they're here to get knowledge from you. Okay, so you spoke about how you manage the students when they attend lectures. And one interesting thing that I'd love to understand from your perspective is what's your view in terms of how we interact with technology as human beings? How do you see our relationship with technology? Is it good? Is it bad? What's your view?
Okay. Let me start out saying I love technology. I think technology is a great enabler. It enables us to do very amazing things. So, if I want to know something, I can just pull out my phone and I can Google it and I can get an answer to some important question for me. If I want to chat to someone far away, I can, log onto my machine and I can video call someone who I miss across the world. Technology does great things for us. But at the same time, it also can take over our lives. So, for example, I find that, like I said with my students, they're young and they want to know things and they want to build relationships with people, but it kind of overtakes their life at the expense of on focusing on their studies. And so there's certain things, I think, although technology can enable things, I think it can kind of sometimes take over your life. So for me, for example, when I drive in my car, I don't always listen to the radio, because I like to spend some of that time thinking. So depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm thinking about a problem, even a problem which I'm trying to solve at work, how can I teach my students better? How can I develop better teaching materials? I think about that sometimes, but even when I'm driving in my car. So if I'm listening to the radio and there's music blaring in my ear, I can't really think about those things. So I don't always have the radio on in my car. I only have it on when I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm tired and I just need to chill, then I put on the radio. And when I'm at home, I don't even watch the TV all the time. When I was young, I used to watch TV all the time. If I could watch TV 24/7 in my teens, I would have done that. But now I realize it just consumes all my time. So I only put the TV on when I want to listen to the news or there's a particular program I want to watch. And so with social media, I've pretty much checked Facebook only once a month, because I know that when I started out, it became addictive. I would want to check every day And I don't always have to know what someone's eating every day or what I did every day or my friends. I don't really need to know that all the time. I need to spend more of the time, I enjoy using a lot of my time to think about how I can make my life better and how I can make the life of my students better. And if I'm consumed by technology, if I'm just listening to the radio, watching the TV, or engaging with social media all the time, then it doesn't allow me the time to think how I can make my life better and how I can make other people's lives better. So, I love technology. I love it, but I know that it can take over my life. And so I have, strategies, I have plans. Don't listen to the radio all the time, don't watch TV all the time, don't engage with social media all the time. Only do it when I feel that I really need to do that.
Okay. So I think you're actually highlighting some important, challenges. How do we balance, our lives, in terms of interacting with the physical world and the digital world? How do you switch on and off? Because as you say that, you do see the benefits of using technology, but you don't want to let yourself to be consumed by it, and I think the very important, lesson that we need to learn is that how do we, balance the time that we spend on our digital lives, so that we can still, live life, because life is not digital, unfortunately.
Yes. That's good.
Thanks a lot. I just want to ask you, just one more thing. I think you've already touched on it already, because you've given your examples about how, when you're driving, you switch off your radio so that you can actually allow yourself to have some space in your head, to reflect on the day, to think about new ways of doing things, how can I improve my course content, how can I improve my engagement with students so that they can become better, etc. Right? So I think, the big question would be, from your perspective, how would you advise someone to use technology in a more meaningful way?
Yeah. So I think you need to think about what are your goals, and then work around that. So some of your goals may be to come to UCT and study a tertiary education, and so social media can help you with that. I mean, you can basically go onto UCT's social media page, see what that's like. You can try and set up a relationship with someone, or WhatsApp some student from your community who's gone to university, and so social media can help you, but you need to think carefully, what can this do for me? Not just think that it's a shiny thing that I'm going to engage with and just engage with it for its own sake. You need to think about what are my goals in my life, and how can this technology enable that? So one of the things I'm also involved with is a community group which does things, which tries to make sure that create public open space. So the city wants to build malls all over the place, and we're saying that we need some open space where people can engage with nature and so on. And so we as a group kind of use social media to organize amongst ourselves, so that we can make sure that there is an open space where people can enjoy nature and so on. So you can use social media in other ways, in more constructive ways, like in your community. You can set up a group who does work in the community, helps people, helps old people, and you can organize amongst yourselves using social media. So that's a tool, but you must think how you're going to use this thing. You can't just have this thing use you, take over your life. So I think that is the thing. You need to first think about it, go off social media for a little while, think about how it's going to help you and how you can use it to better your life, and then go back and see how it's going to fit in with your life.
Okay. That's great input. I think listening to you, what's very important is that if you take social media as a river, you can jump in and out of the river. You don't need to consume the entire river, because if you have an intent, you actually understand why you are there, why you're online. You would actually be able to have like a more focused digital interaction. It means that you'll be able to get what you need, and you don't need to just read each and every feed on Twitter about anything that is trending just because you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.